You read the title, you know what this is. I know that I'll leave this place one day, so I just have to stay strong until then. That everything will be alright. Yet, when I hesitate, no. I will go back home. Be patient, lunatic. You'll make it through. The cricketing of cicadas and the hooting of owls echoed throughout the room. The night was peaceful, as the crescent moon shone above the dark sky. It was enough to lull me into a deep sleep. A burst of light appears in the middle of the night. The forest presence still and as vast as the ocean. Wandering through the vastness of the forest, we saw a young woman, so delicate yet so graceful with every step she takes. Her silky dress flows lightly as she walks through the leafy labyrinth, her being the illuminating light guiding her path. Her eyes reflected upon the stars above. She closed her eyes and took in the sounds of the forest. She hears the rustling of the leaves as the warm breeze passes by the trees, the gentle waves of the river as it streamed through the forest floor, the small echoes of animals that rushed back to their homes. She smiled softly. The forest was her peaceful place. She loved nature so very much. When she opened her eyes, she was surrounded with a vast plain of water. She was no longer in the forest. She looked down and saw her reflection. It was her. Only her. It started back at her, mimicking her every action. She narrowed her eyes and turned her head towards the sky. The stars shone onto the water, twinkling ever so quietly. Closing her eyes, she breathed slowly. She knew it. It was all a fabrication, created within her mind. She accepted that fact a long time ago. After all, she no longer existed in the physical world. Chapter 9. Apple Swans. Why would you bother going through the apple doing that? Just eat the apple. Anyway. Get up, barbarian! A loud, obnoxious voice echoed from the opposite end of my door. Oh, I groaned, still half asleep. I was really enjoying my sleep. Why did I have to be interrupted now? It feels like I'm being woken up for school. Yeah, I replied, my voice still slightly crooked from waking up. I got up slowly from my bed. Looking at my bed hair in the mirror, I laughed at the sight. It went up and down, almost as if I was just after riding a roller coaster. Then I got dressed and went out, only to be surprised to see someone standing outside. Yoongi, I thought you went downstairs already, I questioned. Yoongi was leaning to the side of my door with his arms crossed. His eyes were closed, almost as if he was sleeping. He opened one eye to look at me. Took you long enough, he muttered. Well, you didn't have to wait for me, I returned. Then I remembered about Yoongi's back. Ah, by the way, how's your back? Does it still hurt? I asked, glancing at his backside. Yoongi looked to the side. You could say that, he started. OMG, does that mean the tea worked? I beamed excitedly. Yoongi raised his brow and tilted his head. It's not the tea that healed me, it's my ability to recover quickly that did. Though you could say that it aided the process somehow, he said nonchalantly. I was dumbfounded at his answer, yet nevertheless happy that it helped him, even if it was not much. I gave an amused smile and shook my head. Yoongi just raised his brow and began walking. Anyway, let's go downstairs. You wouldn't want to hear them screaming at you first thing in the morning, Yoongi said, as we walked down the stairway. Well, I've already been screamed at by a certain wildcat, I sarcastically said. giving him a knowing look. Yoongi just rolled his eyes to the side, but I failed to notice a smile forming on his face as he did so. Me and Yoongi both entered the dining room. The rest of the guests were already there. Dinner was serving breakfast. I went to sit next to Demon. As per usual, Yoongi sat across from me again. You made it just in time, Demon said, smiling at me. Yeah, barely, I laughed. Then they placed apples that were shaped as swans in front of each of us. I was surprised on how detailed they were. Well, Zen, did you do this? Jungkook beamed. Only the one and only Zen can master this art, Zen said, smiling broadly. They're too pretty to eat, I said, looking at the apple swan. How did he do this? I was honestly impressed. Well, if we don't eat them now, they won't be as pretty later on, Zen laughed. Who cares anyways? It's still food, Yoongi said while eating the wing of the swan. I rolled my eyes at him. Anyways, they're really beautiful, Zen, I said, smiling at him. I could teach you how to call them if you want, Zen said, serving us bread with jam and butter. Really? Are you sure? I asked, feeling excited. We still have a few apples left over, Zen replied. I want to learn how to make one too, Jungkook pleaded. Me too, Taeyeon followed after. And me, Hoseok said, raising his hand. All three of you have forest duty today, you know? Namjoon said, raising a brow. They all sucked back into their seats, disappointed. What about you, Namjoon? Do you want to carve apple swans? I asked him. I don't think I'm able for those sort of things. I'll pass, Namjoon said, spreading butter on his bread. Zemin, what about you? I turned to Zemin, who had jam on the side of his mouth. He said with his mouth full. I giggled at him. What a cutie. Zemin, you're such a messy eater. Here, I said, taking a napkin and leaning towards him to wipe the side of his mouth. Zemin's eyes widened at this, and a light blush spread across his cheeks. Yoongi observed, feeling very agitated at what he was seeing. He rolled his eyes and scoffed, taking a rough bite of his apple. Lunate, you didn't have to do that. Demon stuttered, feeling frustrated. I just laughed at his adorable reaction. And I would if I could, but unfortunately, I can't because of gardening duty today. Demon smiled apologetically. I gave a slightly disappointed look, but understood nevertheless. Maybe you might want to make one, Demon said, looking towards Yoongi, who seemed to have this annoyed look on his face. I'll pass. I don't need the skills of carving apples into balls. His lips moved too fast. He said, munching the apple while leaning on his arm. Hey, it's a good skill, Zen patted. And those swans! They're all the same anyways, Yoongi stood up. I'll be leaving. Thanks for the food. And with that, he walked out of the dining room. What's up with him today? He seemed to be in a bad mood compared to earlier on. Geez, someone's cranking this morning, Zen shook his head. I looked at the door and sighed. That's the wildcat for ya. When everyone was finished eating, they all went out to their daily task. Me and Zen were in the kitchen washing the dishes, making puns as we did so. I'm seriously contemplating our puns right now, I laughed, unable to breathe. Why though? The way to excellent, Zen wheezed. We could continue making dumb puns while washing the dishes. Let's say it took us a while. When we were done cleaning, Zen brought out 2 apples from the pantry and washed them. Okay, since I'm off duty today, I can teach you how to carve these apples into beautiful swans, Zen said, placing the apple in front of me. He then gave me 2 butter knives and 1 carving knife. Lead the way, oh so great master chef, I joked. I shall indeed, then bowed playfully. We were about to carve our apples when we heard the kitchen door open. I turned around to see Yoongi walk in. Don't think I'm here to carve apples. I'm here to have a drink, he announced. It's not like anyone asked, I replied. He just ignored me and walked towards the counter. He took a glass out of the cupboard and began filling it with water at the sink. Let's get started, shall we? Dan said, smiling at me. I nodded in agreement. I followed these steps carefully. It was also trickier than it looked, though I was able to copy his movements to some degree. Yoongi was leaning on the counter, watching her and then carving apples. He was drinking the water rather slowly, taking small sips, observing them, but his eyes wandered towards you. The way you slightly stuck your tongue out while having a concentrated look on your face, he found it amusing, to say the least. Then a strand of hair made it to the front of your face. He tried to blow it out of the way, but failed, which made him laugh slightly, but played it off as a cough. He then narrowed his eyes and sighed. No, stop thinking like that, he thought, while sipping his water. He saw you through the glass, smiling at the creation. He closed his eyes in an attempt to block out his range of vision, but was startled to see you directly in front of him while he opened his eyes. Whoa, what are you doing? He yelped, nearly dropping his glass. Yoongi, look! Yoongi, look! Yoongi's eyes widened as something reasoned within his mind, something he didn't want to remember. He shook his head to dismiss the memory, and turned to look at you, who was holding your apple swan in front of him. Look at this! It's a swan! I beamed proudly at my creation. It was my first time making something like this, and I felt really accomplished. Lunette did a really good job, especially just by watching once. Even I took a few tries to get it right, then folded his arms, smiling. Well, it wouldn't be possible without the best mentor ever. I tilted my head towards Sin. Ah, I'm flattered, Sin said, waving his hand at me. Yoongi looked at the apple swan. It was not as profound as the one Din made. Its wings were a bit unequal, but it still had a good shape overall. He then looked at you, who was still smiling proudly at your creation. His gaze softened at your expression. It somehow gave the real feeling inside of him, something he hasn't felt in a long time. It looks nice, he quietly said, while coughing. What was that? I couldn't hear you, I said. It looks acceptable, he stated. Eh? Acceptable? What's that supposed to mean? I raised a brow at him. What were you thinking, means? He said as he started to wash his glass. What a weirdo, I thought as I watched him. I looked at my swan and smiled. I was really proud of it. I then looked at Zen, who was busy cleaning up our mess. Here, Lunette, open your mouth and say, ah, Zen said, holding an apple piece in his hand. Uh-huh. What am I, a baby? I laughed, but still complied to his request. I bit the apple from his hands and gave him a thumbs up. It was crunchy and sweet. He nodded in approval. Yoongi was done washing his cup, but couldn't help but notice you and then laughing behind him. He pursed his lips and began to walk out before you stopped him. Yoongi, say, ah, I stated, holding a piece of apple towards him. He blinked confused before speaking. What? He asked. I rolled my eyes, still holding the apple. Come on, say ah, I said, being serious about it. I'm not a baby, he said. Oh, really now? I doubt that, I said with a sticky grin. Yoongi just glared at me, but complied to my request as well. He opened his mouth to take a bite of my apple, maintaining eye contact with me as he did so. He then threw it, licking his lips afterwards. Again, not breaking eye contact. Then he swallowed it. There was still juice dripping at the side of his mouth. Happy now? He said, giving a sarcastic smirk. You're like Demon, being a messy eater, I laughed. I took my thumb and wiped the side of Yoongi's mouth, getting rid of the juice. Yoongi was shocked at the sudden accent, that he just froze in his place. He watched as he wiped away the juice on the side of his mouth. Your hands felt soft against his skin. Again, the real feeling came back to Yoongi. Then you sobbed it as you backed away. Yoongi then snapped out of his daze. I told you I'm not a baby, he said, haughty and stoned out of the kissing. I was slightly surprised at his reaction. Maybe I took it too far. I sighed and spoke to Jin. Did we offend him that much? I asked him. Jin blinked at me and laughed. Lunatic, you really are clueless, aren't you? He laughed. Hey, what do you mean by that? I asked, confused. He means so dumb. Okay, he's tsundere. That's pretty easy to spot. Anyway. Other than that, you better be careful with the things you do, or else it might end up getting you into trouble, he said, while washing the sopping bowl. Trouble? What do you mean by that? I asked accusingly. He just laughed at my reaction. I pouted at him, unsatisfied with my answer. Trouble. I'm careful enough to know to stay out of trouble, so I have no clue on what he was on about. Man, people here are confusing. I just sat and helped out with the dishes and continued to walk with Jin, to talk with Jin. Yoongi left the kitchen abruptly. He went outside and leaned his back on the door, covering his mouth. A dark shade of red was apparent across his cheeks. His heart was beating at a rapid pace, and it wouldn't stop. He then moved his hands to his forehead, looking up to the sky and sighed. The sun shone down upon him. It was a moderately warm day, but he felt like he was burning up. That barbarian is more dangerous than I thought, he said aloud. How troublesome! He smiled softly to himself, closing his eyes as he did so. Chapter 10. Discoveries. When me and Jin were finished cleaning up, he said he had to help Demon out in the gardens. We both parted ways and I was left alone. Now what should I do? I decided to head towards the library. I walked upstairs and across the hallway until I was in front of the door that led to the library. Opening. The doors I was met with the same large room filled with books that I first encountered it when I arrived here. Walking around, I was amazed at how so many books could be compacted into one area. All the books were mostly about stories of all sorts, a few poems, and even some books about plants. Exploring the library felt like a maze. I went up the stairs and onto the second floor where most books seemed to be present. As I was walking through the library, one particular book caught my eye. It was towards the back of the library, almost as if I was hiding. When I reached to grab it, the book just leaned forward, not buzzing. That's when I heard a click. The bookshelf began to shake, and I heard the sound of gears behind turn. The wall then sunk back, revealing a long passageway. I jumped, started at the accent. What just happened? I looked into the passage. There were stairs descending downwards, with torches on each side of the wall. I hesitated to enter. I wouldn't. darting into the abyss. They descended below, but curiosity got the best of me. Curiosity got the best of me. And before I knew, my feet were moving on their own. Walking down the stairs, I felt slightly uncertain on what was ahead. Who knew that secret passages would exist in this massive place? The torches flickered on as I walked past them. When I reached the bottom of the stairs, there was a circular room, no windows, but instead a large door. I pushed open the door, though it was a bit of a struggle since it was pretty heavy. When I entered the room, I was met with another library. A bit smaller than the one upstairs, yet somehow this library had a different feeling to it. The room had this secrecy aura emitting throughout. The books were kept on neat, pristine wooden shelves, each embroidered with a gold spine. They were all kept in pristine condition, unlike the ones upstairs. They looked important. I took one off the shelf. It was a leather book with a golden border on it. Planted in red on the first page. I opened the first page. It was a sketch of a tree, the mourning tree. Its echoes can be heard from a mile away. When you hear its echoes, hide. I gulped at the sentence. I continued reading. It said that the mourning tree can bring back undead spirits. If a spirit is present, hide in nearby shrubs or up above trees. If a spirit spots you, freeze. Don't think that you're a tree and leave you alone. If you are caught by a spirit, it's said that your being is dragging along with them on the ground. My eyes widened in shock on what I just read. Can such things exist in this world? Just what is this place really? I turned the page. It was a picture of a long plant, sort of looked like seaweed. The aquatic weed. Present in rivers of the ocean, the aquatic weed likes to grab unsuspecting victims and try to force them down to the bottom of where they came from. Once the victim is in the grasp, they strangle them to death. The more you struggle, the more tight is its grip. The only way to free oneself from its grasp is to cut the weed's arms from wherever it's wrapped around you and swim away from it as fast as you can. My body tensed, so that thing that grabbed me a few days ago was this aquatic weed. I suddenly came to a realization onto what would have happened to me if Yuki wasn't there to help me. I shivered at the thought. Nope, not going to think about it. I flickered through the pages, seeing even more pictures of alive plants, and then closed the book, unable to read more because I was already creeped out enough. I placed it back onto its original spot. I walked around the library, wondering what kind of books were these. They were certainly not the normal type, considering the content I read from a single book. Why would those guys keep those sort of books in this place? As I was walking, I heard something hard hit the ground, causing me to jump. My heart started beating rapidly, to which I placed my hand onto my chest to calm down. I took a deep breath and sighed. Geez, lunatic. Still, it's just a book, I reassured myself. Walking over to the fallen book, I bent down and picked it up. I looked inside the book. It was a picture of what looked like a full moon with swirly clouds surrounding it. The Night of the Blue Moon was what was written as the title. The Night of the Blue Moon, I questioned out loud. I read the first paragraph on the page. The Night of the Blue Moon is an event that happens every 3 years. It's when the moon emits a deep midnight blue glow at 12 o'clock on October 1st. The phenomenal event is so rare that whenever a blue moon is present, a huge festival called the Blue Moon Festival is held in the village across the land. I read, though it's sort of like a super eclipse step. I read the second paragraph. Dora believes that a blue moon beholds mysterious powers that only few people can harness. I raise my brows in confusion. Powers? How can a moon hold such power for that of a human can obtain? This is just wrecking my brain. Though it is so rare that it's still unknown on what these powers are. I furrow my brows. Unknown, huh? However, it's said that when someone experiences a true state of happiness on that exact hour a blue moon is visible, there's that time when the mysterious power of the blue moon is unlocked. That was all that was written. The rest of the page was blank. A true state of happiness would cause the powers of the blue moon to unlock. What did they mean by all of that? Well, I guess no one has experienced a true state of happiness since there's nothing written about it. Besides, how does one feel true happiness? I shook my head and thought, forget it, Renata. This is just going to confuse you even more. I closed the book and put it back in its original place, which was on the shelf next to a messy-looking desk. I looked down on the desk. The desk was scattered with pages with messy scribbles and had feathered quills, leaning against the edge of a small ink bottle. I guess someone was in the midst of writing something. As I examined the desk, one of the pages caught my eye. Picking it up, I took in the feathers. It looked familiar. It was so sketched on what looked like a woman. Her hands were on top of each other on her chest. She wore a long, flowy dress that made me believe that she was alive. A flower crown rested upon her head. The sun was above her, and the moon lay below her feet, surrounding her with what looked like beasts. They seemed afraid of her. The beasts looked like smoke, with soft claws that reminded me of Dementors in Harry Potter. As I examined the woman's face, it looked awfully familiar, but my mind didn't seem to recognize whoever this woman was. She had such a delicate facial features, eyes ever so innocent, her lips as soft like a cherry blossom. I narrowed my eyes slightly, quickly. Taking a deep breath, I gripped the page, eyes never leaving the figure. She kind of looks like me, I whispered. Then when I heard the creaking of the door open, crap, crap! I immediately dropped the page and dashed behind a bookshelf. I glued myself to the wall and tilted my head up to quiet my breathing. Footsteps could be heard. They were approaching my direction. Then they stopped. The person was directly behind my location. I prayed that they wouldn't come to the other side. Oh, I heard a low voice. I dared not to move. My body was frozen, too rigid to move a muscle. Please leave, I thought. Then the sound of paper could be heard. How you get down there? They said. My heart was racing. Did they notice me? It was silent for a bit. I still didn't move. The waving pace could be heard. She has to be the one. She looked exactly like her. They spoke. This piqued my interest. What did they mean by the one? What exactly is going on? Then I heard a sigh. It's really hard for me to believe it, but there is a strong possibility that that woman could be the answer to our questions, they said. By that woman, were they referring to me? Man, this is just getting more and more complicated. Then again, I could be wrong, but the moment she mentioned Suga, I was certain that she was who I thought she was, they muttered. So they are talking about me. But what does Suga have to do with it? I remember what Demon said about Suga having a plan that concerned me, but what they did mean about the one. Then I heard the footsteps moving, this time towards my direction. Panic began to rise again. I had to do something quick. I scanned my eyes around the area, looking for some other place to hide. There wasn't that many places to hide, considering the small room. The footsteps were getting nearer, with adrenaline pumping through my veins. I ducked behind a small book pedal in hopes that they won't notice. There you are, the voice said. My eyes widened. Celestial, the book I was looking for, they said. I quietly sighed in relief. Then I heard the footsteps getting further and further. The person left the room, shutting the door behind them. I stood up and scratched. That was close. Maybe it's time for me to leave as well. I waited a bit to make sure they were fully gone before leaving. When I reached the top of the stairs, I felt around the walls looking for some sort of switch. Nothing. How am I supposed to get out of here? I let out a groan. Great, now I'm trapped too in this sketchy-looking room. Then I looked at the torch. Maybe... I reached my hand over to pull it and bent down and heard a click. Then the wall in front of me opened, revealing the main library. I'm a genius. Walking to the main library, I let out a breath. The wall behind me closed again. I walked out the enclosed bookshelf area and went downstairs. On my way downstairs, I looked outside the window. It was already evening. How long was I down there for? I shook my head and went out the exit. That was interesting, I spoke to myself. What was interesting? Someone spoke. I shot my head up to see Yoongi. His arms folded. He had this slightly sly expression on his face. A book I read, I nonchalantly replied as I walked past him. Yoongi watched my figure walk away from him. He gave an amused look and walked into the opposite direction. Then the incident from this morning flashed across his mind. His face heated up and he started coughing vigorously. I turned around when I heard someone coughing. I saw Yoongi bending over slightly, his hand over his mouth. I immediately ran over to him. Hey, are you okay? I said, reaching my hands to him, worried about his state. Yoongi's eye widened and he covered his mouth with one hand, using the other to hold up in front of him. I'm fine, he asserted, still coughing. Yeah, right, you sound like you're dying, I said, raising my hand towards his forehead. No, I'm really fine. He stopped when my hand was placed on top of his forehead. Again, the soft hands feeling against his skin was what made him feel calm. Whoa, you're really burning up. Do you have a fever? I said when he swung underneath my palm. He stared at me, silent for a bit. The scent was really intoxicating. He couldn't help but notice it. It made him dizzy. His heart was beating uncontrollably, so much so he was worried that you'll hear it. Your worried expression made him feel something on the inside. Yoongi, are you alright? Then he remembered the promise he made. He narrowed his eyes. Maybe some cold water will help. I started before Yoongi removed my hand off his forehead. I'm fine, he stared firmly, the tone of his voice gone suddenly cold. He then turned around and started walking away. I was left there, feeling confused and irritated on his actions. What's wrong with him? I was only trying to help. I scuffled and turned on my heels to walk the opposite direction, towards the downstairs floor. On my way down, the image of Yoongi staring at me with those icy eyes never seemed to leave my head. Ugh! What the hell was his problem? He's always so complicated. I tried to be nice, but his attitude is really testing my nerves. I sighed in frustration. I wasn't looking where I was going when I suddenly bumped into someone. Oh, a deep voice yelped. Wait, I recognize this voice. I looked up to see Namzu with a surprised expression on his face. Lunatic, how are you? He said, smiling at me. Well, the day's never been better, I replied. Then I hope it stays that way for the remainder of the day, he said. I nodded in acknowledgement, and we both went past each other. As Namzu went up, I turned around to look at him. He was holding a book with the title Celestial on the cover. That alone confirmed my suspicions on the voice I heard earlier. I pushed my legs and went outside. So Namzu was the one I heard earlier, looking up at the sky. I let my mind wander about the countless possibilities. On what he meant by the one, Namzu seemed like the type who knows a lot about things. I wish I could just ask him, but I know that it's not that simple. He could question where I found out about it, and then he'll know that I hold him in that secret place. I don't want to find out how he reacts if that happens. The cicadas began ringing their melodies throughout the forest. The sky, now a brilliant amber color, was present. I looked down to see Taeyeon. Hoseok and Dunkirk returning from their duties. I waved at them, welcoming their return. Squinting my eyes, I noticed someone else walking among them. They looked like someone I knew. As they got closer, I gasped because I knew this person. The person looked up and their eyes widened. Lunatic, they spoke, looking at me. Daeon? I replied, just as shocked as her. We stared at each other in disbelief. Hoseok, Jungkook, and Taeyeon looked at me, then at Daeon, then at me again. What? They all yelled in unison. Inside, I felt the same way too. Chapter 11. Friend or Foe. You want me to what? Daeon yelled at Suho's request. Suho was leaning on his arms, looking at his ring. He looked up at Daeon, who was standing in front of him, arms folded, looking confused and furious. Why do you want me to go to those bastards based on an absurd lunatic? She yelled at him. Suho kept a straight face, no sipping emotion from Daeon. Besides, why can't Jinsu do it? She reasoned, pointing at Jinsu, who was sitting on the table. Jinsu was busy sharpening his knives but raised his head slightly when he heard his name being mentioned. Suho raised a brow and sat up. Jinsu would be too suspicious considering his personality. However, you, on the other hand, would appear more trustworthy towards those flower boys and towards Lunatic. Plus, you're taking acting classes back in the model world, so that's why I chose you to go, he explained. And they don't know what you look like, nor who you are, considering that you're fairly new, he added. Daeon closed her eyes and took a deep breath to calm down. Why do you want me to observe Lunatic? Daeon finally spoke. Suho gave a dark smile. I want to make sure our key is kept in pristine condition until the night of the blue moon arrives, he responded. Daeon stared at Suho, expecting more answers. I want you to make Lunatic trust you so that the plan will run smoothly. Jinsu will watch over you from afar. So you don't have to worry about him interfering, he explained. Jinsu's attention was now on Suho. It's been a while since he's been requested to do any tasks. He jumped off the table and walked out the room to get ready. Daeon sighed and was about to leave the room before Suho spoke. Before you leave, I must warn you about one particular person. He's known as the Blue Rose. He's very particular when it comes to observing strangers, so you must make sure not to break character. If you fail, you'll have to deal with all 7 of them. Understood? Suho warned with a serious expression. Daeon scoffed with a sly smirk on her face. Fail? Please. Those flower boys are too naive to even think I'm up to something. I heard they're all weak for innocent girls, so that task would be nothing for me, she boasted. With that, she left the room. Suho watched her as he left, a mysterious grin on his face as he did so. He looked down on his emerald green ring. It had a black and silver body with the oval emerald eye on top. He rested his head on his arm, admiring it. His eyes darkened as he spoke. Oh, little Lunatic, just wait a bit more. Soon you won't have to stay with those wretched people, he started. Because I'll destroy them. We all froze for a sudden what seemed like eternity. up until Hosuk spoke up. Wait, you know her? He squeezed. I nodded my head, still staring at Dion. She looked just as shocked as I did. I honestly couldn't believe it, yet somehow I felt relieved that someone else from my world also existed here. She's a part of the gardening club in my world. I spoke. So you're friends? Jungkook asked. Well, I started, because I wouldn't call ourselves friends. Seemingly, we just met once at a gardening club. We're acquaintances, Dion spoke up. Ah, I see, Dion nodded. I was still shocked to see Dion here. So many questions rambling through my mind, but the words wouldn't form. Anyways, we were just about to find Namjoon, Hosuk explained. If you're looking for Namjoon, I saw him earlier going up to the library. I spoke, remembering my encounter with him just earlier on. Yeah, we guessed that, Jungkook smiled. Lunette, do you want to come with us? Taeyeon asked. I turned my head to Dion, who just awkwardly stood there. She looked unknown unto what was happening. I then looked back at Taeyeon. I was planning on going anyway, I replied. All right, let's go, Hosuk said. We made our way upstairs toward the library. But as she told Dion, I gave her a comforting smile. She smiled back at me. Though I could tell she was a bit unsure. Hey, it'll be alright. These guys are really nice, I saw. Well, mine is the wildcat. Hehe, it's interesting how we both ended up here, isn't it? She laughed. Yeah, I know, I replied. Honestly, I'm happy we both ended up here. Now I don't feel so alone. Dion's paused. God. I hate playing goody-goody. It's disgusting. That lunatic is really naive. I pay her, but I also despise her. Those three were dumb enough to bring me here after I pretended to be a helpless young woman lost in this massive forest. This must be easier than I thought. I don't know why Suho made a big deal out of it. We all entered the library. I looked around. It was pretty average, though I don't care much about books. Lunetta looked at me, gave me a smile with that stupid face of hers. Of course, I had to act innocent so she could trust me. If people in the mortal world were able to be tricked by me, so definitely be an easy target. Natsu, one of them yelled. If I remember correctly, it was Hosuk. He's the orange rose. He seemed like a silver type. I can't believe I have to learn the names of these worthless beings. A low voice inquired. When he reached the top of the stairs, a man with dark green hair was present. Namjoon, the green rose. He seemed like the leader type. We found this girl lost in the forest, Hosuk explained. Namjoon looked at me. I put on my best fake worry expression. He gave me a